5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition, liftoff, Semper Fi, aim high.
Good evening and welcome to Fox News Primetime. I'm Lawrence Jones, and tonight we are reimagining education. Joe Biden's Secretary of Education, Richard Cardona, was confirmed this week with a 64-33 vote. Who is Richard Cardona? Now, his nomination flew under the radar, so I don't blame you if you happen to miss him say this back in December.
We must embrace the opportunity to reimagine education and build it back better. We must evolve it to meet the needs of our students.
Reimagine education. Now, on paper, it sounds good. After all, the American education system was failing millions of students long before COVID took place. A little creativity and imagination would probably be pretty good. But then I remember what reimagination means to the teachers union.
There really is so much that I feel I can do virtually, but perhaps the focus right now should be on reimagining what education looks like in the future.
If you prioritize safety, we can figure out how to reimagine education.
If the future of education is virtual, we don't need to imagine what the impact will be on our children. We can see it right now in households all over America. Our kids are struggling in silence while the unions scream to keep the schools closed. The left likes to throw around phrases like social justice, equity. They say Black Lives Matter. Who do you think this hurts the most? That's right, Black and brown kids. That's who. 1/3 of Black households don't have internet access. How are those kids supposed to learn virtually? I'll tell you how. They don't. A study of Ohio students found that Black kids were chronically absent 16% more this year than in 2019. How will they make those days up? How will they close the gap? The reality is many won't. The fact is, this lost year doesn't end when the lockdowns are lifted. Our children's study gap isn't just gonna go away. It's gonna get worse. It will snowball for decades. A Stanford study estimates that children who miss out on schooling because of the pandemic could end up earning 6 to 9% less over the course of their careers. And if I seem angry or upset by this, please understand why. I see myself in those stats. I grew up in Garland, Texas, a town outside of Dallas where 70% of the students were eligible for free or reduced lunch. I'm the oldest of 3, and my mom and dad both worked hard. Sometimes they had to work late, and a principal or a basketball coach would have to drive me home from school. They did everything that they could to give us a better life, and I am grateful for them every day. But I wonder, what would have happened to our family if I was a kid now? What if the pandemic cost my parents their jobs? Or better yet, what if they had to keep working? Who would have overseen my schooling? Who would have shouldered the burden of making sure my brother and my sister were in front of a computer and paying attention? That would have been on me. The truth of the matter is, I don't know if I would be here, sitting in this seat, talking to you right now as if that pandemic would have hit when I was a little boy. Think about it. We won't know the true impact of these lockdowns for decades, but we do know that our kids are hurting right now. They're desperate to return in the classroom to some kind of normalcy. There are kids here in New York who are willing to travel 3 hours to play football at a charter school in Harlem because they know playing ball and getting a scholarship is their best chance to get out, to succeed. Why are we making them work this hard? And look at this little girl who was locked out of her school for nearly an entire year.
Guess what? What? Really? I haven't gone to school in such a long time. You're going back to school. Yes.
Do you feel that? You can't watch that video and tell me virtual learning is good for our children. The isolation alone is taking a toll on our children's mental health, and now we have the facts to prove it. Teen suicide attempts were up 99% in April in 2020 compared to 2019. Overdoses were even worse, up nearly 120%. Those aren't just numbers. Those are our children. Those are kids like Dylan Buckner of Northbrook, Illinois, just 18 years old, a good student, a popular kid, a star quarterback with 14 offers to play college ball, a young man on the rise. Dylan, he took his own life back in January. His parents said he was struggling with depression, which only got worse during the lockdown. His friends and community came together for a visual after he died. If those friends had been able to get together with Dylan at any point during the last 12 months, have a burger, maybe study some algebra, would he still be alive today? How many more Dylans will it take before we stand up and say, enough? At some point, the pandemic will be over. Our kids will go back to school. And maybe, just maybe, we'll forget about this lost year. Maybe we'll forget about the people who fought to keep our classrooms closed, even when the science said it was bad for our kids. But don't do it. Never forget. Take action and vote out the governors, the mayors, the school board, and city council members who put the demands of the unions ahead of the health and well-being of our children. Remember, this is America. You have the power to fight back. So stand up. Make sure that the people who locked up your children never have the chance to do it ever again.
Merci d'avoir regardé la vidéo. Si vous l'avez aimé, mettez un pouce. Et si vous voulez faire partie de la famille cosmique, abonnez-vous. Si vous désirez nous soutenir pour notre travail, vous pouvez trouver le lien Tipeee en description. Merci, à bientôt. Bisous.